What's up, everybody? And let us go ahead and dive into this very controversial topic.
Why do men cheat? Hold up, man. We know that women cheat too.
Yes.
We got you. That's coming at a later webisode. So remove the trigger fingers.
Remove the trigger fingers. We
It's
know
coming.
there's some sisters that do some stuff too.
We know.
But we want to talk about it. We want to talk about why do men cheat? First thing, I firmly believe if a man is not striving to be faithful to God, it is impossible for him to be faithful to you. And I think sometimes we're expecting God-like qualities from a godless person. Faithfulness is a God-like quality. So for him to possess any form of faithfulness, he has to be a godly man. And I know it's coming later on this webisode. People say, I know some godly men who cheated. Miss me with that. David was a man after God's own heart. And he went over there and did it with Bathsheba. Then he got Uriah on the front lines. He got that boy murked. So miss me with all that. We understand that. But we do want to really put emphasis on the spiritual component.
The word of God says this: the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Not the terrified type of fear, but reverence, honor, respect, that type of fear. A kingdom man doesn't cheat because he's fearful of getting caught. He's more fearful of broken intimacy with Jesus.
That's so good. That's like a at Redefined TV, at Tanisha Flowers, at Jerry Flowers statement. A kingdom man doesn't cheat because he has fear of getting caught. He fears broken intimacy with Jesus. So let's park right here real quick and put a quarter in the meter. We really have to talk about this, because when a man loves Jesus, when a man truly views Jesus as their greater than, that's so vitally important, because temptation is only hard when you don't have a greater than. When a man really, really reverences the Lord, he does not want to do something that breaks the intimacy with his king. And so if we think about David, because I know that's usually what people are going to put, Bible people are going to say, what about David? What about David? David was out of position. And anytime we're not in the warfares that we're supposed to be in, we'll create private wars that we didn't even have to fight. He was supposed to be on the field fighting. The Bible says, when kings were supposed to be at war, David stayed in Jerusalem. So he was out of position, right? And usually temptation is always harder when we're out of position, not just in a location, but out of position with our king. Anytime we're out of position with our king, we're prone to do anything. A man is prone to commit any type of sin when he's out of position with his king. And so I think we really have to understand what really keeps a man, what really grounds a man, is his intimacy with Jesus. The level of conviction that rings in a man's soul when he's about to deliberately rebel against the God that he loves. It makes it to where he can hardly function. And sex is not an accident. No. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. There's some sins we understand that could be a slip. If you used to curse people out and somebody cuts you off and scares you, you might you say something. But sex takes too much work. You know, it takes too much mental stimulation. It takes too much thought. This is something that usually is a puddle that we ignored. It's going to be a flood after the act, but it started off as a puddle. There are a lot of people who in their hashtag and their captions says kingdom man. Number one, a kingdom man can control his genitals. I said it at Jerry Flowers. That's a fruit of the spirit. That does not mean it's always going to be easy, but he must have a greater than. You are no stronger than your devotion. A man is no stronger than his devotion. And the only way that we can be led by God directionally is we got to seek him devotionally.
All right, y'all. Y'all are not going to like us.
Well, the ladies not.
After this.
Brothers gonna like this.
Not gonna like it. But let me tell you, let me put this disclaimer out first. It is never, 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 never.
They get it, Tanisha.
Okay for a man to cheat. Never. What we are saying is that wives, you must be careful to not allow the enemy to use you to push your husband to be tempted to commit adultery. Plain and simple.
I know y'all don't like that.
I know, but we have to be careful if we're doing certain things or refraining from certain things.
Ooh, let's give y'all Bible. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5. Do not deprive each other. except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer, then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of control. So what's the Bible saying?
Yeah.
It's saying basically have sex. If you're married, have sex.
Yeah.
Have sex, unless it's, that time of the month, illness, pain,
Yeah, like
things like that.
Things like that. Like, we're not talking about physical
have
ailments.
sex.
Like,
have sex.
There's exceptions. Like,
lots of it. Have sex. No, for real. They need to hear this, because the devil wants you to have a lot of sex while you're unmarried and then no sex when you're married. A sexless marriage is a powerless marriage unless there's an illness or
unless there's a reason, like
there's something
some
limiting
physical,
you.
limiting that somebody cannot perform.
Yeah, but
that is something completely different.
We don't use sex as a weapon. That will always backfire. The word says, don't deprive one another. Come together so that the devil won't tempt you.
Yeah.
So if a woman is upset at her husband, she says, no, you ain't getting none for a week. You best believe the devil is going to send a flirtatious, very verbal affirmation woman to this man to try to stimulate him to lay his head in the lap of Delilah.
Yeah.
If I can get him not to have his needs met at the house, I'm going to send somebody
to
tempt him. Don't do this, because the enemy could use this as a weapon. He hates covenant.
Right.
The devil hates covenant. He hates union.
Yeah.
So if he sees that there's a weapon that he could use, he's going to try it.
Right. Now, that's not a permission slip for him to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to say it once again. I know it's kind of a tough pill for us to swallow, but we don't want it. We don't want to be used by the enemy for anything against our husbands.
Yeah.
Anything. Like, we want to be the best wives that we can be because we're their helpmeets.
Yeah.
We want to be the helpmeet that God has called them to be, so we can help them reach a point in their manhood, because what we do is help men develop in their manhood. That's why God gave us to them.
Come
okay? And we don't want to be used by the enemy, because guess what? We can. They can too. But we're, it's equal playing field. But we can be used by the enemy. Not a permission slip, but be careful. Like, you may be mad. You may be mad at him about something. But if he's a godly kingdom man, listen, do what you have to do to, talk it out, whatever it is that is necessary to be done, so you don't allow the enemy to come in and ruin your marriage.
Yeah. And let me add this too, because I just feel it in the atmosphere. If you treat her like crap, if you don't honor her, if you just treat her like a piece of meat,
come on with it. If
you disrespect her, to just move, girl, I want to watch the game.
Yeah, right.
But then in the bedroom,
you wanted to
right. If you don't lead, if you don't lead in any other area, but you want to lead in sex, that's a problem. We're not saying treat her like however you want to treat her, and then expect her to give you as much sex as you want. Negative. I'm telling you, as a married man, if you really want to get your wife in the mood, it's not about roses. Those are nice. It's not about flowers and, chocolate. Those are nice. And your wife her love language may be, gifts. But vacuum a floor, though.
Bro, listen.
Clean a car, though. You wash some dishes.
You speaking my language.
You see what I'm saying?
Talk about languages.
Fold some clothes. Scrub in the toilet. Get the stains off the toilet.
Bruh.
Clean the shower faucet.
Listen.
Show that you are really helping.
The Lord is using you, brother.
Show that you can help.
You're being used.
Picked up some clothes.
Come on now.
I'm telling you.
Speaking my language.
If you're unmarried, you probably don't know. But if you're married, I'm telling you, you want to get her in the mood, have her come home to a clean house, vacuum the floor, leave lines in it. You know them little lines you be doing in the I need a picture. Look, you see that? Get the lines like that.
The lines.
Or if you're a cooker, cook for her. If you're not, provide food for her.
Yeah.
Rub her feet.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that. Sex won't be an issue, bruh. It won't be an issue. We had to say that because we don't want it to make it seem like you're possibly assisting your husband to commit adultery, and he treats you like crap. We
gotta cover it all.
He treats
somebody gonna say something.
Right. He treats you like crap. He doesn't honor you.
Keep
giving him some.
Right. It does have to be.
It has to be where the man understands that I'm here to serve my wife, and like the next webisode, to send that brother who will listen. See, you don't want to listen because she talks a lot. Oh, but the devil got a dude
that will
listen.
to everything she gotta say.
Will call
and give feedback.
Will check on her.
Will be like, really? Is that how you feel?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I think. Yeah,
this is what you should do.
Mm-hmm. He will have a dude that will
sure
speak,
will
compliment her on that new
speak
fragrance.
Her language.
Yeah, that will compliment those highlights that you didn't notice. You know, that will show up for her business meeting or whatever the devil will send a dude just like that too. Yeah. You know, so that's gonna be the next webisode. But summing that up, why do men cheat? It has to do with a spiritual deficit. And number 2, we aren't aware of contributors to help us commit adulterous behavior.
And you know what? There's other reasons. First of all, selfish. You're just selfish. Selfishness. Yeah. Men cheat because they're selfish and they have a lack of self-control.
Yeah,
period.
Make sure that you listen to the next webisode, bruh. Not just men cheat, but people cheat because they're selfish. You just care about, I want to get my climax. Mm-hmm. I want to have my orgasm. Mm-hmm. I want to feel good. I. And it comes from a selfish spirit. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's a spiritual deficit. Other times they're contributors. And then sometimes you're just selfish. They don't care about your heart. Yeah. All they care about is themselves. They did everything they could to get you to fall for them, but they had no intentions of catching you. They just care about themselves.
We want to talk about it all.
Why Do Men Cheat? It's Redefined TV.
Where we're redefining relationships
righteously.